I want to welcome the proprietor of the house, Mr. Vinnie Brand, who has run, who has been here since, who opened the Stress Factory Comedy Club in 1991. It's a staple of the New Brunswick cultural scene, but it's also obviously a nationally acclaimed comedy club. Just a kid from Middletown who made it big here in the Hub City, and really appreciate you having us here tonight, and really appreciate you coming up and sharing some of your thoughts. So, Mr. Vinnie Brand, thank you.
So it's wonderful to come out and see people sharing a story and actually having something to say. I don't really necessarily have anything to share or say, and I hope I don't disappoint you profoundly. But if I do, I know that it doesn't really matter. Like, that woman's on her phone as I'm trying to begin. So are they. I saw you. Don't worry. It's very easy to see because when I turn the house lights down, the glow comes from your lap. And it's the worst thing in the world. The internet has made us feel incredibly important. And we have to be on the internet at all times. We have to know what's happening always. Not necessarily what's happening in front of you, but what you're missing out there. Because clearly you are missing something out there. I don't know what it is. Maybe it was important. Maybe you have a babysitter at home. I'm assuming that's not the case because you didn't run out of the club. It's probably just some bullshit that you didn't need to check. You're a young man. You're going to learn some new things today. I apologize. You should be home doing whatever kids your age do. How old are you? 12. All right. Well, prepare to be scarred. Young man, I will tell you that none of us are important in the way that we think we are. We all like to think that we're very, very important. And really, we're not important at all. And it's okay to not be important. There's two things I want you to know. We're not important, and you are not okay the way you are. Those two things are critical that we know. We are very fond of telling people, oh, you're fine the way you are. I assure you that none of you are fine the way you are. You should wake up every day and try and improve yourself. I don't care how good you already are. You'll go to pissed off with this news. I apologize. Okay, you're not okay. I wake up every day and say, can I be better than I was the day before? And for me, it's incredibly hard, but I still do it. I still manage to be better every day because I know it's important to realize that I'm not okay. And I know I'm not important. People love to say that their job is important, that their role in life is important. Let me explain to you how unimportant you really are. Abraham Lincoln saved the Union and freed the slaves, literally changing the course of the country in what were the hardest years of our country's existence. And he was shot and killed. And 8 minutes later, they had someone else doing the guy's goddamn job. Do you understand how unimportant you really are? Okay, if you can absorb that and understand that, you can realize, hey, I've got to be way more grounded. And that's why the internet is such a bad thing. We feel like we have to constantly check, and we feel like we should be out on our Yelp accounts, letting people know how the hamburger is. According to you, who works at the Grease Monkey. You read a Yelp review, it's almost always negative. I thought the meat was tough. Hey, you were at a Golden Corral. Why don't you make better life decisions? That's a good idea. Of course, it's not even meat. You should understand. What you were eating wasn't meat at the Golden Corral. It was something else. It was a mystery. But it should be tough because it never lived. It's amazing they got it to taste like that. You should be writing, I can't believe that whatever they served tasted a little bit like meat. But that's the internet making you believe your opinion is important. And we didn't do that when I was young. You didn't have the internet. You're a young person. You could fire off your opinions without the time to filter what's really going on, right? Back when you were a kid, if you were angry with a restaurant, you couldn't just snap off a 2-star review with a little frown face. I didn't like it, frowny face. You had to go home, pull out a sheaf of paper, take a feather off a goose, write a letter. Dearest sir, I thought the establishment was underwhelming. I'm not certain that I'll be back because the service was lacking. Then you had to get an envelope and take out the yellow pages and look up an address and find a stamp. And by the time screw it, I just won't eat there again. And you moved on. You weren't important enough to get your voice heard. And that's an important thing to remember. I only said that because you were on the phone. That's not what I'm going to talk about. I also felt that tonight should be a little lighter. It was very heavy up until this point. I thought, oh my goodness, we've gotten a whole group of people together to depress them on a Tuesday night. I learned very early in life that you've got to laugh at everything. You got to laugh and have fun. Listen to me, young man. You should wake up every day and realize how great it is to be 12. Every day, you should wake up and go, this is awesome. Okay? Like, I don't ever want to hear you complain about anything until you're this woman's age. Then, that's when you realize what a shit show it really is. My father taught us that stuff right away. My father dealt with everything with humor. Everything was a joke to my father, and he was tremendous to learn from. He wasn't a highly educated man. He was a plumber. He was the smartest guy I ever met. Clawed his way out of high school, but a bright guy. Always with humor. He would yell at us with humor because the point came across. Because when you heard him yell, he took a time to let you know, hey, it isn't really that serious, but you got to stop what you're doing. He was yelling at my brother one day. My brother was doing something. And he said, Michael, if you keep doing that, I'm going to put a foot so far up your ass, you'll have a bubble in your head. Everybody laughed. Everybody, and my brother got the message. Ooh, that would hurt. I'm going to stop doing that. I immediately will stop doing that because that would hurt. You can't. Your generation will never. It's all talking and time out, which is fine. It's a good way to raise someone. Time out is good. Do you get time out, young man? No? Do you get the switch? My father made me laugh all the time. We were in the garage one time, and he was building something. We were building a boat trailer from scratch. And he had a metal peg. He had to drive through this trailer and then weld that peg in place. And he was hitting that metal peg with a sledgehammer. And I was standing there, and I heard it dink, 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 and I heard thump. And the thump was quiet, but I knew he had hit something, and I turned and I looked, and his hand was flayed open. It was just completely raw, a gigantic gash, bleeding terribly. And I looked at him like, oh my God. And he goes, yeah, remember, the quiet ones hurt. And I go, Dad, you want me to get a Band-Aid? He goes, nah, it's just a flesh wound. He started quoting Monty Python. And then I'm like, man, how'd that happen? He goes, how'd it happen? I missed the peg, you idiot. And in just a few moments, I learned so much. I learned, A, the quiet ones hurt. Do not have a quiet swing with a sledgehammer. Always make noise. 2, yeah, it's going to hurt. You got to deal with it. You can't cry. You can't run from it. It's going to hurt. And 3, I should watch the entire Monty Python movie because I didn't get the reference right away. He was a tremendous teacher. Tremendous teacher. When I was a kid, I played football. I was 135 pounds. He signed me up to play football, and he had the foresight to make me an offensive guard because everyone knows that an offensive guard should be at least 135 pounds. I don't know if any of you know anything about football, but 135 pounds. There are punters that go, that guy's not heavy enough, okay? There are water boys that have better physique. I was 135 pounds, and he made me an offensive guard, and I just had to work so hard, and the coach would pick on me. The coach would literally line up people in lines, and he would go, we got 5 in this line, 5 in this line, 3.5 in this line. I'd go home, and I'd be upset. I go, Dad, why do you have me playing guard? He goes, because you have to learn. You got to learn how to work. I'm like, yeah, but maybe I should be on a chess team. He said to me, he goes, I guess, a lot of smart kids. You'd be struggling just as hard in a different field. And he taught me how to work hard. And as a senior, I, through hard work, no talent, hard work, he always used to tell me, never let a coach tell you you can't play. You have to work harder and make them notice you. And as a senior, I won the starting nose guard position from a much bigger kid. And I came home and said, Dad, I won the starting nose guard position. He goes, see that? 4 years of hard work paid off. And the very next week, I came down with mononucleosis. I didn't play one down. I said, Dad, I can't believe that. 4 years of hard work down the drain. I got nothing. He goes, what are you talking about? You got everything. I go, no, I'm not going to play one down. I didn't play one down on a varsity field. He goes, Vinny, who cares about that? You have no career in football. What are you, smoking crack? You're 15. I mean, you're 135 pounds, he said to me. Then he said to me, what you learned is how to work. And remember, son, you got to know how to work. So now I'm learning all kinds of things from him. I'm learning how to do things funny. He was the funniest guy I ever met. Hysterically funny. I mean, the stuff that came out of his mouth would just make us laugh all the time. And tough as nails. We've learned that. And responsibility. Man worked every single day of his life. Every single day of his life, got up in the morning. And he was a hard drinking guy. Drank 12 beers a day. Get up in the morning. Stand at the kitchen stove, watching the coffee percolate. In his boxer shorts. Just standing there like this. Like, oh, please, let me get coffee as quickly as possible. And one day we're giving him a hard time. And I go, Dad, why don't you put pants on? My brother goes, he's too busy trying to stop the room from spinning. My father laughed at us. That's good. Always good. I opened the club, and it was 1991. And he came to see a show with a bunch of friends, and he insisted on paying. I said, Dad, I can't charge you. You're my father. I'm not charging you. I come in the club. He goes, Vinny, you have to charge me. You got to make money off your friends because your enemies go somewhere else. So 1994, I'm getting divorced, and I'm embarrassed. I don't see my father for about 8 months because I'm embarrassed because it didn't work. And he always made things work. And he was working at Rutgers Stadium. They were putting in the soda machines. He was a union steam fitter. Union workers are very good for our economy. Coca-Cola is not a union shop at the time, but that was a union job. So the steam fitters said you have to have 2 steam fitters on the job. I went to the job. It was August. It was 104 degrees out. My father was sitting laughing with his union steam fitter friend, and I saw 2 legs sticking out from underneath the Coca-Cola machine. I said, what are you doing? He goes, I'm installing these machines. Can't you see him busting my ass here? I go, what are you talking about? Who's that guy? He goes, that's the guy from Coca-Cola. I go, well, why are you here? He goes, well, that's a union job. Fluid is moving through the machine, so that makes it a steam fitter job. They made us put 2 guys here. I go, are you shitting me? He goes, no. He goes, once this machine's hooked up, I got to push the other machine into place, and the other guy does the work. The guy comes out from the Coca-Cola machine. He's dripping in sweat and grime and grease. He's got the Coca-Cola stuff on. He looks at my father, and the other union guy goes, all right, I'm ready for another machine. The machine's got to get pushed on a dolly 64 feet. My father goes, Vinny, you mind pushing the machine for me? No, I'll do it for you. I push it over. He never moves. Coca-Cola guy goes back on and starts working. I go, what do you do? He goes, you just did my job for me. I'm done for the day. I go, are you shitting me? He goes, nah. He goes, always get someone to work for you if you can. About a month later, on a September night, my father had a stroke on a Friday night. And my sister called me up. It was about midnight. She goes, Dad's in the hospital. It's bad. You got to come down. I go flying down. And he's not going to wake up. They tell me on Friday night there's no way he's going to wake up. It's a bad stroke. We're going to give it a shot, but you're probably going to lose him. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, my God, I'm so glad I saw him. And I had gone to him that day, and I said to him, when I saw him, hey, Dad, I love you. And I said it like that, like we always do. And, yeah, listen, young man, because, you know, you probably tell your parents you love them, right? Yeah, how do you say it? You say it like we all say it. Yeah, I love you. Like that, right? But that's not the right way to do it. You got to look them in the eyes. Let me tell you something. You want to get all the things you want in life? Learn how to communicate. When you want to get something from your parents, I want you to do this for me. Look them right in the eye. Make them feel it and go, hey, I love you. And they'll go, I love you too. And go, no, no, no. I want you to listen to me. I love you. Shut up, I'm talking. Respect your elders. You look in someone's eyes and you say it like that. And then you ask for whatever you want. You understand? You say, no, no, I mean it. I really love you. I don't think you hear me. I love you. And you say it like if I want to tell this woman I love her, I'd lock eyes with her. I'd say, listen, you're another human on the planet. And I don't know you, but you're here, and I love you. You're not important. Don't ever think you are. So we go down to the hospital, and Friday comes and goes, and Saturday comes and goes. And by Sunday morning, they said, listen, your father's never going to come out of this. And if he does come out of it, he's going to be a vegetable. That's what they said. That's the official word they use, which I think is politically incorrect. I think we have to find a better way to say that, but that's what they said. The surgeon said he's going to be a vegetable. And my brother said, which one? Everybody kind of laughed. The surgeon looked at us kind of like something was wrong. And he goes, listen, he goes, I think maybe you should consider giving your dad a DNR. That's a do not resuscitate. That's a job you have to do. I'm the oldest son. That job falls to me. I have to tell the doctor that if my father has a life-stopping event, they just have to let him go. It's a miserably difficult thing to do. Are you here with your parents? You are? Hey, you go, when you leave here, you find a therapist. So we're there on the Sunday morning, and I get my sisters and brothers around. And I said, listen, we got to do this DNR thing. And it's not going to be pleasant, but Dad would definitely not want to live like this. He was too much fun. So we decide that all of the brothers and sisters will have a turn, and they'll go in and they'll say goodbye to my father. Even though he can't respond, they will have a chance to talk to him. And I will go last. And then after that, we will issue the DNR. I will give that order. And if he dies, he dies. And we'll have known that we had our moment. So my sister Lori went in. She had a nice talk with my father. We were all out in the other room. Then my brother Michael went in. And then my sister Michelle went in. And Michelle was talking to him for about 3 minutes. And we could see her talking to him. And then all of a sudden, the machine starts beeping like mad. And nurses come running. And they clear her out. And my father is having a heart attack. He's already had a stroke, now he's having a heart attack. And the DNR has not been issued. So I go into the room. And the nurse goes, you have to leave. I said, I'm not leaving. She goes, you have to leave. We're trying to save your father. I said, my father's not going to go through this. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be with him. So I take his hand, and he doesn't make it. He dies. It's awful. It's the worst thing possible. It gets very quiet in the room. It's surreal when it happens because it's just business to them. And the room is very, very quiet. They're compassionate but quiet. And I remember thinking, oh, man, the quiet ones, they hurt. They hurt. So I'm upset. My sisters and brothers are all upset. We go outside. We're talking. And my sister, Michelle, is the most upset. She goes, I can't believe I was talking to him. I was just saying how much I was dying. And I was just talking. And all of a sudden he had a heart attack. And now he's gone. I can't believe it. And everyone's upset. And my brother, Michael, who learned every lesson my father ever taught, looked at us and said to Michelle, well, what'd you say to him? And we all start laughing. We start laughing so loud. And we're like, oh, my God, that's the funniest goddamn thing. He would have loved that. He would have loved that. And we're laughing hard. And I said, listen, we got to go down to the chapel, and we'll say a prayer. And the nurse goes, oh, that's a good idea. because the surgeon and the priest will come to the chapel in a few moments. And we go down to the chapel, and we're all in there, and we're crying, and we're having our moment. And Michelle says, well, at least we know he's on his way to a better place. And again, my brother, who learned his lesson well, said, I wonder how long it takes to get to hell. Now, I know all you think that's crass, but my father would have laughed harder than anybody at that joke. And we start cracking up. We are laughing so hard. And as we are cracking up, with tears coming down our eyes from laughing so hard, in walks the priest and the surgeon. And the priest is definitely thrown off. He's a Catholic priest. So he's all business. He's coming in. He's going to comfort us. He's going to get his paycheck, and he's going home. And he walks in, and he sees us laughing, and he goes, oh, I thought you guys would be upset. I came down to comfort you. And now we're laughing even harder. And the priest and the surgeon are like, this is a really screwed up family. And the priest looks at it and he goes, I guess I can come back. I go, don't even bother, Father. We're all Jewish. And we laughed even harder. And what's my point? The point is, if you can't laugh all the time, life gets hard. You got to laugh all the time. You have to know that you're not that important. Whatever goes on at your job tomorrow is going to go on the next day. Your life's going to just keep going on. These are the really important things that you need to know in life. Number one, you got to laugh, okay? You need to laugh. 2 of those punchlines, you didn't laugh. That's a problem. Now, that's number one. Number 2, know how to communicate. You got to know how to communicate. We communicate without looking at each other. Look in people's eyes when you're talking to them. Look in their eyes, and when you tell someone you love them, don't just say it. You got to say it and make them feel it. And 2 good things come from that. Number 1, they receive it. Number 2, you gain incredible power over them. It's so much fun when you do it. You just look at someone and go, no, I love you. And you watch them go, oh, I don't know how to do this. And remember this always. The quiet ones hurt. Don't be quiet. Go through life. Tell people you love them, make them laugh, and be loud, because it's more fun. The quiet ones suck. I hope you guys had a little fun tonight.